The 5th year with Marcus, I left the ballet company. Wanting to surprise him, I went directly to his company without notice. The new female secretary admired my graceful dancing, but he complained with a hint of mockery. When I first saw her dance ballet, she was indeed beautiful. But now, the thought of her constantly clinging to and embracing male dance partners makes her seem dirty to me. Unlike you, fresh out of college and clean. You know, during our first time, she didn't even have first time bleeding. I stood at the office door, unsure if it was exhaustion from rushing straight here after the performance, without a moment's rest, or simply heartbreak. My body trembled uncontrollably. Today was my 27th birthday. Before I left for the overseas performance, Marcus held me tightly, unwilling to let go. Grace, I truly don't want anyone else to see you dance. He had always said things like that since I graduated college and we became official. I thought it was his jealous possessiveness, intimate whispers between lovers. It turns out, he thought I was dirty. Riverton in June was supposed to be hot, but I felt a chill spread through my entire body. Miss Grace, why aren't you going in? The special assistant, who had come to report on work, looked at me in surprise and knocked on the door. The voices from inside the office abruptly stopped. A flicker of unnaturalness crossed Marcus's face, and the next second he strode towards me with a frown. Grace, why are you back so suddenly? The anxiety in his eyes seemed genuine, and his grip on my hand tightened slightly. Ordinarily, I would have simply believed he was truly worried about me. But his mocking words still seemed to echo in my ears, and meeting his gaze, I detected a hint of testing. Was he testing whether I had heard everything he said? After a long moment, I found my voice, which sounded a bit hoarse. I came back because I wanted to celebrate my birthday with you. Marcus froze, then suddenly let out a sigh of relief. He looked at my sweat-soaked dress. Why are you such a mess? I really can't let you out of my sight for a single moment. He reached out and brushed the stray hairs from my forehead, a helpless smile on his face. I need to take care of a few things first. Why don't you change, and then we can go home together later. He gently stroked my head, glancing at the female secretary. The female secretary understood. Ms. Grace, let me take you to the lounge to change. Only then did I notice the female secretary. I hadn't seen her before, she must have been new. She was tall, with delicate features and light makeup. Her fawn-like eyes radiated a bright smile, the kind of first love face people talk about online. No wonder Marcus said she was fresh out of college and clean. The and the office were separated by only a thin door. I walked behind her, leaving the door open. Ms. Grace, Mr. Marcus really loves you. Even though you don't come often, all the clothes here are in your size. The female secretary, whose name was Chloe, smiled as she picked up a piece of clothing and handed it to me. Her movements were so practiced, it was as if she were in her own lounge. I saw a clear lipstick mark on the clothes, and before I could speak, she abruptly pulled her hand back. Oh, I'm sorry, this one seems a bit dirty, she said, seemingly flustered. I wasn't stupid, I didn't miss the hint of provocation in her eyes. Marcus, outside, noticed the commotion. He strode over, but positioned himself to block me from Chloe. What are you doing? You can't even get a simple piece of clothing without issues. Go take it to the dry cleaners right now. His tone turned cold. Chloe, with reddened eyes, hugged the clothes and left. Grace, she's so clumsy, don't mind her. Marcus reached out and hugged me tightly, his warm breath fanning my ear. That's not just ordinary dirt. It was a lipstick mark. My voice was a bit dry. Marcus paused, then suddenly released me. Grace, don't you believe me? Someone must have accidentally gotten it on there. He explained, then without waiting for my reply, he glanced at his watch and hurriedly said, Uncle's project is being investigated by the fire department. I need to go check on it. I might be late, wait for me, okay? Uncle was now the Jiang family's biggest client. With a single sentence, he airily dismissed the topic. I didn't speak, my heart growing colder. He only left me with a hurried departing back. I waited until the sky turned dark. In the end, Marcus still didn't manage to take me home. I looked at the luggage piled by the door, feeling a bit disoriented. I remembered when I was with Marcus, even if I only came back to the country for a day, he would cancel everything during his busiest times just to be with me. Back then, he could never get enough of being by my side every day. Later, we both reached the heights of our respective careers. Everyone thought we were the ultimate power couple. Now, it seemed the physical distance had shrunk, but our hearts had drifted apart. Yet, 5 years of emotions couldn't just be let go of all at once. Especially with my family situation. Dragging my luggage alone, I still returned to the home we shared. Every piece of decor in the house was something we had carefully chosen. I looked at the dried flower frame in the foyer, and my eyes suddenly stung. These were the first fresh flowers Marcus had ever given me. He had preserved them as dried flowers. Grace, I will love you forever, just as I did at the beginning. As I walked further in, the walls of the house were covered with photos he had taken of me. Grace, I want to forever remember every beautiful moment of you. They say photos carry emotion, and every one here was beautiful. He was the one who spoke touching words of love, and he was also the one who mockingly lashed out in the office. It wasn't until I saw the bed that the emotions I had been suppressing finally began to unravel. I couldn't believe that in this day and age, someone's knowledge of basic physiology could be so lacking. Believing that first-time bleeding only occurs if one is a virgin? I still remembered our first time. He had held me excitedly and promised me, Grace, I will cherish you dearly. But when he woke up the next morning, he stared blankly at the clean bedsheets, a hint of doubt flashing in his eyes. When I asked him what was wrong, he simply hugged me tighter and said it all felt like a dream. It turned out, he had already disliked me back then. I don't know how long passed, but I lay in bed, sleep eluding me, my mind a tangled mess. Just then, I heard the sound of the door opening outside the room. Marcus was back. Sorry, Grace, I'm late. Marcus carried the chill of the night air as he placed the cake he was holding on the table. On the pure white cream was a gracefully dancing ballerina figurine. I looked at the cake and suddenly remembered our first meeting. That day was also my birthday, but I had been ignored by my family yet again. It was Marcus who suddenly appeared with a cake, making funny faces to cheer me up. He told me firmly, Grace, from now on, your birthday will be the most important thing in my life every year. I looked up at the clock. It was already past midnight. Today was no longer my birthday. Marcus acted as if nothing had happened, calmly kissing my cheek before turning to the bathroom. Because of my family background, I honestly hadn't believed in love. But back then, I truly believed in him. I closed my eyes, suppressing the bitterness in my heart, and pushed the cake aside. Just then, his phone, which lay beside the table, buzzed with a message notification. His old password had always been my birthday, though I had never looked through his phone before. But today, I opened his phone. It was a message from a cute sun profile picture, only half an hour, and I miss you again. Half an hour, precisely the time it took to get from the sea company to home. My fingertips trembled as I scrolled up, until I saw, she's back. Are you getting married this time? Of course not. The reply time was 5 minutes before he entered the door. His profile picture was a cute little moon, a matching profile picture with the little sun. How ridiculous. When he changed his profile picture back then, I even asked him, and he said it was because he thought I was as pure as the moon. Marcus truly trusted me too much. He hadn't deleted any of his cheating records. The further I scrolled up, the more their sweetness and flirtation were documented. 3 months ago, it was the new graduate recruitment season. Chloe, wearing clothes similar to mine, caught Marcus's attention. It wasn't until a networking event, when Chloe was covering for Marcus whose stomach issues flared up during toasts, that they got together after drinking. Marcus, you're my first man. I love you, and I'll resign myself. I'll take responsibility for you. My first man. These words made my already bitter heart gradually turn cold. Just then, the sound of water in the bathroom stopped. I put the phone face down on the table, and my previously chaotic mind felt calm now. Marcus, emerging from the shower and radiating warmth, didn't seem to notice anything amiss. He got into bed and hugged me tightly, his warm breath fanning my neck. Grace, are you still mad at me? I've missed you so much. Shall we go see your father tomorrow? He must miss you too. He wouldn't miss me. He would only want to get more investment from Marcus. I swallowed the questions on my tongue and turned on my side, saying, I'm tired. Marcus paused, then gently stroked my face. My bad. I forgot how hard you traveled today, Grace. Go to sleep. He turned over, and I opened my eyes to the darkness, utterly sleepless. Grace? Are you asleep? Marcus's voice was very soft. I didn't reply. I don't know how much time passed, but his phone buzzed again with a message notification. He let out twice more, as if confirming I was fast asleep. Then he reached out, tucked my blanket in, and quietly went to the balcony. In the darkness, I heard his muffled voice, Stop it. I will break up with her. Don't cause trouble for me at a time like this. He quietly sent a voice message, and I clenched my fists suddenly. All right, don't be scared. I'll be right over. His tone was indulgent as he tiptoed out of the room. Just before leaving, he gently kissed my forehead. I closed my eyes, feeling utterly disgusted. I was sleepless all night. Just as dawn was breaking, my phone suddenly buzzed with a message notification. It was a multimedia message from an unknown number. The photo showed a woman's fair upper body, her neck covered in crisscrossing hickeys. A large, bony hand was gripping her neck. There was also a familiar scar on the web of the thumb. It was the one Marcus had accidentally gotten when he was breaking in my new ballet shoes for me. He doesn't love you anymore. Why cling to him and insist on marrying him? So, this was her true objective. Judging by her appearance, she was nothing like a pure and innocent girl. And, he was truly foolish to the point of being laughable. Just then, the room door opened. I looked up, meeting Marcus's somewhat surprised eyes. I went to buy you breakfast, Grace. He quickly recovered, putting the breakfast he was holding aside. Then he walked towards me, his brows furrowed with worry. You just got back, why don't you sleep in a little more? His warm large hand touched my face. Suddenly, the image of that neck covered in hickeys flashed in my mind. Because I had to wear performance costumes, I never allowed him to leave marks on me, let alone gripping my neck. He must have restrained himself for a long time, hadn't he? The thought of that hand having choked Chloe's neck made me nauseated, and I stepped back. He reached out to pull me, and in the shove, my phone fell to the floor. Marcus instinctively bent down to pick it up. But it revealed clear claw marks on his back. I couldn't hold back anymore and ran to the restroom, dry heaving. When I came out, Marcus, with a face full of pleasant surprise, took my hand. Grace, are you pregnant? I pulled my hand away, my weariness reaching its peak. I was just feeling sick. Just as I was about to speak, he suddenly hugged me tightly, his voice choked with emotion. Grace, I'm so happy. You've brought me a new family member. 5 years, and I had never imagined he was such a hypocrite. I'm not pregnant. After a long pause, I heard my own hoarse voice. Marcus, however, looked knowing. Without a word, he pulled me to the hospital. Grace, I know your personality. You always do things with 100% certainty. It wasn't until the doctor said I simply hadn't been eating recently and had some stomach issues. After he confirmed it repeatedly, his face was full of disappointment. Just then, his phone rang. He glanced at the screen. Grace, wait for me a moment. He walked out of the hospital room. The doctor looked hesitant, glanced at me, and then added, the stomach is also an emotional organ. You should be careful not to put too much stress on yourself. I nodded seriously. My body was my own. It wasn't worth ruining for him. Just as Marcus said, I always valued 100% confirmation in my actions, and deciding whether a relationship should continue was no different. I walked closer to the door. Marcus hadn't finished his call yet. Okay, don't worry, it's not about my health, you don't need to come over. Both our families have business ties, breaking up isn't that simple. Just be good. He hung up the phone, his brows showing impatience. From the provocation in the lounge at the beginning, to the blatant threats in her phone messages this morning, she was not that simple. I turned my head and saw a familiar figure walking up behind him. Marcus. I have something to tell you. Marcus watched my reaction while simultaneously putting distance between himself and Chloe. Whatever it is, we can talk about it at the company later, and besides. Marcus. I'm pregnant. Chloe impatiently cut him off. Unexpectedly, Marcus's expression turned ugly. He forcefully pried Chloe's hand away. In the nearly suffocating silence, Marcus's voice turned cold. What nonsense are you talking about? Just because you're pregnant, it doesn't mean it's mine. Chloe's sweet smile froze on her face. She seemed not to have processed it, and her expression for a moment was quite comical. So I laughed out loud. My laugh seemed to infuriate her. Chloe suddenly rushed up to me. What are you laughing at? Do you know what it means to be a latecomer who overtakes? In a relationship, the unloved one is the mistress. The more she cursed, the more invigorated she seemed, as if finding confidence in her words. She even tried to come forward and shove me. Marcus, frowning tightly, grabbed her. Enough. He used a little force, pushing Chloe aside. Then he stepped forward and pulled me to leave. Don't listen to her nonsense. She's mentally unstable. I'll fire her as soon as I get back. Marcus explained, rambling incoherently, but he couldn't pull me away. Meeting my cold gaze, his tight grip on my hand suddenly loosened. I forcefully pulled away from him. At this point, there's no need to lie to me anymore, Marcus. Marcus stared blankly at me, then after a moment, forced a strained smile and tried to take my hand again. I looked at him, then slowly patted the hand he had just held. I heard everything that day in the office. That night, I didn't sleep either. Your secretary sent me your photos. Grace.You. Marcus's usually frivolous eyes showed a hint of panic. I let out a soft laugh, looking at the gasping Marcus and the bewildered Chloe beside him. Your methods are truly clumsy, only a clueless person like Marcus would fall for them. You want him, then take him. The day after I moved back home, my father, who had been absent, returned. Trailing behind him was a somewhat haggard Marcus. The moment his eyes met mine, apprehension flickered in his gaze. But my heart felt like it had fallen into an ice cellar. I had truly loved him once, which was why I told him my deepest fear. My father's illegitimate son had driven my mother to her death, yet he remained indifferent, simply because the Jiang family needed a male heir. I hated him, but I also feared him the most. And now Marcus had brought my father here to pressure me. My father's face was grim, his sharp eyes filled with displeasure. Grace, don't be childish. Marcus has already come to explain to me. It was just a misunderstanding. I thought of the photo. For the first time, I met my father's gaze directly. It's not a misunderstanding. The photos of his infidelity are still on my phone. I said each word distinctly. My father's face stiffened. After a moment, he pursed his lips. Arranged marriages are just like that, all marriages in the world are. He just made a mistake any man could make. His voice was a bit hoarse. I had long known his selfishness, so I sneered, I won't marry him. If you like him so much, you marry him yourself. He froze, seemingly not realizing I dared to defy him. What followed was his furious outburst, you'll marry him whether you want to or not. The family has cultivated you for so many years, since you've enjoyed the resources, you should pay the price. With that, he stopped looking at me and only spoke to a somewhat stunned Marcus beside him, take her. Your wedding should be put on the agenda now. I lowered my head and remained silent. They all thought I had given in. But I was merely having the last shred of my illusions about family extinguished by him. I no longer wanted Marcus, nor did I want these people who were called family but had no genuine affection. I was no longer the Grace who only cried back then. While they were all preparing for the wedding, I quietly slipped out of the mansion. A luxury car was parked at the entrance. Seeing me, the person inside slowly rolled down the window. Revealing a gentle and handsome face, his eyes curved into a smile, get in. Ethan was Ms. Eleanor's son, and now a rising star in Riverton's business world. Not only were his capabilities outstanding, but his maternal grandfather also had significant influence. The scenery outside the window changed. His driving was smooth, and imperceptibly, I slowly fell asleep. Honk! The horn woke me. I opened my eyes in a daze, meeting a pair of eyes full of amusement. He reached out a slightly cool finger and wiped the corner of my eye. We're here. Why were you crying even in your sleep? I instinctively brushed his hand away. Just as I was about to say something, I was surprised to find that the car had stopped at the ballet where I used to practice ballet. My mom is waiting for you inside, he gestured with his lips. Since going abroad, I hadn't been to this ballet in a long time. What was once a bright and clean place now seemed somewhat neglected. A hint of excitement suddenly surged in my barren heart. As I walked in, music suddenly filled the air, a dance piece I had practiced thousands of times. My body reacted faster than my mind. In the dimly lit environment, I danced through the entire piece. At the end, the lights came on. I looked up and met Ms. Eleanor's serious face. Time had left many marks on her. Looks like you did well abroad, she snorted lightly. I froze, my hands at my sides unconsciously clenching. Ms. Eleanor, I've left the ballet company. A bitter taste inexplicably filled my mouth. The smile on her lips froze. She frowned, looked at my face, and after a moment, mockingly said with some anger, well, of course, after all, you're going to be a wealthy lady. My heart suddenly felt as if something had blocked it. The place I had spent the most time was not home, but this ballet. And Eleanor, standing before me, was more like a mother to me than my own mother, who had passed away early. I opened my mouth, then finally said with self-deprecating humor, he cheated, but my father still wants me to marry him. If you don't want to marry him, then don't. I don't believe he'd dare come here to bother me. Hearing her angry words, the emotions I had suppressed for so long suddenly erupted at that moment. I had thought I no longer cared, but when someone showed concern, I realized that those grievances hadn't disappeared, they had merely been hidden. I hugged Miss Eleanor, softly sobbing. After I calmed down, I faced the man before me with swollen eyes. Why was he still here? All better? Ethan asked with a smile. Although hadn't learned ballet before, he often came to help Miss Eleanor clean. Over time, we became well acquainted. After I went abroad, Miss Eleanor's health deteriorated, and so the ballet classes gradually stopped. After I cried, Miss Eleanor asked me what I wanted to do. I looked at the dilapidated studio before me and thought of my past self. I want to reopen this ballet. But before that, I need to resolve some matters. Miss Eleanor said nothing, simply telling Ethan to cooperate with me. That night, Ethan took me to a bar. Emotions are fragile bonds, only interests are indestructible. I looked at Ethan, my glass gently clinking against his. I have all the evidence. Their dealings have never been clean. As long as you help me, Jiang is yours. I just want cash, I said calmly, taking a USB drive from my bag. Ethan looked at me deeply, then after a moment, downed his drink. No problem. He drank it down quickly, and I, too, gritted my teeth and gulped mine. Drinking too fast made my head feel a bit dizzy. Just then, Ethan suddenly rested his chin on his hand, and a look of regret appeared in his gentle eyes. Why did you stop dancing? You were so good. The dazzling neon lights spilled onto his face. The sincerity in his eyes made me pause. Perhaps it was the alcohol, but I gave a self-deprecating laugh. Originally, it was for a man. But that man, he thought I was dirty. After all, he was someone I had given my heart to. Even after so much time, bringing it up still brought a dull ache to my heart. Like a scar that had healed for a while, now torn open again. Reminding me of my foolishness. My mind was full of chaotic thoughts when Ethan suddenly took my hand. You're not dirty. You are the most beautiful white swan. His voice was soft, so soft in the noisy bar that it was almost inaudible. But I heard him clearly. Meeting his eyes, which were filled with deep emotion, my world seemed to halt for a moment. It was loud, chaotic. Yet I distinctly heard the sound of my own heartbeat. Suddenly, a figure rushed over and viciously pushed Ethan away. It was Marcus. He violently seized my wrist, his face so grim it looked like it could drip water. You blocked me, called off the engagement, moved out. Was it because of him? Even now, he was still trying to shift the blame onto me. I sneered. What, have you dealt with your child and your woman? Marcus froze, and the hand gripping my wrist slightly relaxed. After a moment, he scratched his head in frustration. It was just a fling, Grace. What man in the world doesn't play around? As he spoke, he seemed to find a moral footing, pulling me gently into his embrace. Grace, you're the one I love most. All the others. I pushed him away with all my might and sneered. Marcus, don't touch me. You make me sick. He froze, then the next second, as if enraged, he roared, Grace, who do you think you are to be so pure? Dancing ballet, you get so close, so intimately close, who wouldn't react to that? He paused slightly as he spoke, looking at my disgusted eyes, and frowned tightly. And you didn't even have first-time bleeding during your first time. Why are you pretending to be innocent? His voice wasn't quiet, I heard every single word clearly. I was so furious my entire body trembled uncontrollably. I was enraged by his insult to dancers' professionalism, and also that he could say such things in public. 5 years of a relationship, ultimately, it was all a joke. As I turned to leave, Ethan suddenly threw a punch. Marcus, caught off guard, was knocked to the ground. Ethan, usually gentle and polite, now looked stern. I quickly spotted people surging from the nearby booths, and without waiting for Marcus's reaction, I grabbed Ethan and ran out. It wasn't until we were in the car, feeling the cold wind, that the heat on my face gradually subsided. I'm sorry you had to witness that spectacle. I was still breathing slightly heavily. In the quiet car, I felt a strange sense of shame. Ethan's hand tightened on the steering wheel. I looked at him, somewhat confused. He pursed his lips and pulled the car over to the side of the road. Grace, I actually lied to you. He took out a photo from his wallet, which turned out to be of me during my first time practicing in the ballet. I was a bit stunned. His long fingers gently caressed the yellowed photograph. I'm helping you, and it's not just for my own gain. I deeply regret only realizing my feelings after Marcus confessed to you. I opened my mouth, unsure what to say for a moment. I'm not trying to pressure you. I just want you to know that you truly are the most wonderful person in this world. Your presence is a gift the world has brought. My mother was sickly, and even on her deathbed, her mind was only filled with thoughts of love. As for my father, his eyes were only filled with profit. My 5 years with Marcus had only been a misplaced sincerity. This was the first time anyone had told me I was a gift the world had brought. The atmosphere in the car, which had been somewhat awkward, now slowly grew more intimate. I looked out the window, letting my heart beat faster and faster. After that night, I didn't go out alone with Ethan again. Aside from giving him the evidence I had collected, we didn't have much further interaction. During this time, with Ms. Eleanor's help, I reopened the ballet classes. Watching a group of energetic children, I felt my heart gradually fill up. One unremarkable day after class, I suddenly received a strange text message. Ms. Grace, help me. This really seemed like a scam message, but only children called me Ms. Grace. So I went. I hadn't expected the message to be from Chloe. Even more, I hadn't expected her to kidnap me. At her home, her once delicate and pretty face now looked somewhat deranged. She had covered me with anesthesia, and when I woke up, I was already tied up in the living room. Seeing me awake, she walked towards me, smiling and holding scissors. Are you satisfied? It's all because of you. If it weren't for you, how would I have been forced to abort my child? He said I didn't understand the rules, but I truly loved him. What rules does love need? He clearly said he would marry me. If it weren't for you, how could he have investigated me? How could he have told everyone about my hymen repair and being the other woman? She shrieked, the sharp scissors gesturing menacingly close to my face. Are you satisfied now? I'm completely ruined. I pursed my lips, trying to calm her. He's not worth it. You can move to another city and start a new life. I can give you a large sum of money. Her face, however, grew even more frantic. Money? Why should I only take money? You're even dirtier than me, so why do you get to live such a glamorous life? Marcus still loves you so much. Just as the scissors were about to cut my face, I met her eyes, and a sudden idea flashed through my mind. I have a way to make Marcus fall in love with you again. Her scissor blade paused. Really? What I didn't expect was that Marcus actually showed up. He frowned, looking at the deranged Chloe, his voice full of impatience. Where's Grace? Do you want to die? He threatened in a low voice. It was hard to imagine that just recently, he had been secretal. Why making flirtatious calls to Chloe behind my back? When saw Marcus, her eyes immediately lit up. She didn't care what Marcus said at all. She just rushed towards Marcus with the scissors. Marcus, it's Chloe. Your beloved Chloe. Let's be together forever. But she underestimated Marcus's strength. With just one kick, she was knocked unconscious by Marcus. Marcus walked into the room and saw me tied up. He urgently helped me untie the restraints. You scared me to death, Grace. He hugged me tightly. I pushed hard. I couldn't move him. Grace, after all these years, have you forgotten everything? I truly love you. His voice was soft, but filled with a profound sob. I don't blame you for being with that other man. Can we just call it even? Come back to me. I truly can't live without you. Do you know how much it hurts me to see you with someone else? I rolled my eyes, not even wanting to speak. I said coldly, Marcus, you don't understand me, and you don't understand ballet. You just enjoy the thrill of possessing beauty. My calmness seemed to enrage him. He grabbed my shoulders, staring intently at me. You look down on me? Grace, everyone is just as dirty. What right do you have to look down on me? I pressed my lips together. He grew even more frantic and kissed me fiercely. Chloe said you want to marry me. Can we get married right away? Don't be mad anymore. At that crucial moment, a police siren sounded outside. Marcus was abruptly subdued. Ethan hurriedly helped me up, looking me over from head to toe. After confirming that I was just a little disheveled and nothing serious had happened, he breathed a sigh of relief. Good thing you came, otherwise. I had set Ethan as my emergency contact. When took my phone, I had managed to dial his number. But at that point, I was already losing consciousness. Ethan, however, suddenly hugged me. Thank goodness you're all right, otherwise. I froze. It was an embrace, yet I didn't feel any resistance. Perhaps he sensed my stiff body, as he released me. I'm sorry. Was I too forward? Looking at his flustered expression, I curved my lips into a smile. It's fine. You just saved my life. He smiled without speaking, then took my hand and turned to walk towards the police officers. Watching our tightly clasped hands, a strange feeling welled up in my heart. After giving my statement, Chloe was sent to jail for aggravated assault. Marcus, who was also a suspect, was no exception. However, unlike Chloe, who was alone, he was quickly released on bail. But that had nothing to do with me, because the children and I were undergoing intensive training for a competition. When it was time to compete, I was even more nervous than when I performed myself, and I couldn't help but look around. Then I saw a news report that the Sioux was suspected of money laundering and tax evasion, and everyone involved had been taken in for investigation. The elderly patriarch of the Sioux family had stepped forward to take charge. Among the people involved, I actually saw a familiar figure, even though he was heavily pixelated. It was my father. No wonder he insisted on me marrying Marcus. Another reason was that they had long been colluding. I looked at Ethan beside me, feeling a little surprised. Because I had only given him some information about the Jiang family. Don't worry, your brother has been indicted for premeditated murder. No one can help him now. Ethan said calmly, looking at the children on stage. I fell silent, but my heart suddenly pounded fiercely. He had done even more than I had imagined. The children lived up to expectations and won the gold medal. The moment they went on stage to cheer, I excitedly hugged him. He, with trembling hands, hugged me back. I looked down, met the children's innocent eyes, and pushed him away as if I had been burned. He didn't get angry, just watched me with a smile. Later that night, we went to the bar again, but this time, I was the one who invited him. Finishing my glass, I placed my hand in his palm and gently squeezed it. Why haven't you confessed your feelings to me, Ethan? Don't you like me? His large hand trembled slightly. After a moment, he whispered, because I was afraid. I stood up and moved closer to him, softly kissing the side of his face. What about now? He froze, saying nothing. After a moment, he cupped the back of my head and kissed me back tenderly. I couldn't tell if it was the alcohol or the stuffy heat in the bar, but I felt completely lightheaded. I felt like I was melting in his arms. And so, I let myself melt.